dual air channels so that your movement will come freedom. Introducing sleep number bed with sleep IQ technology, which has...
This is a 2003 Jaguar S-Type with a 3-liter in it. It had a problem with the transmission staying in the higher gear, and emergency brake warning message on the dash, reduced engine performance. So I'm going to take a look at, see what the problems are. I was just asked to unplug the emergency brake module, so that shouldn't be too much trouble. Just in case you're not familiar with the Jaguar series, the secondary hood release is on the right side of the Jaguar emblem on the trim bezel or the hood. Gonna reach in underneath of this where it curves down and get a hold of this handle. The code 1585 refers to the throttle body that I've seen show up having a problem with the throttle body motor. There may be a tear in your beer with that code on the list. The other code, p0705, is for the transmission ring sensor. So I'm going to do some checks. Have an awful lot of codes, a couple undefined codes, and a lot of air conditioning controller codes. That's an awful lot of codes all at once. So it could have a power delivery problem. I'll focus on the power and grounds and take care of some of the maintenance issues. And then turn it back loose to the customer and see if it has more problems. See if any of the codes that have showed up show up again. That's the best way to verify them before really getting out of hand and replacing stuff. And I'm going to go for the engine ground cable down underneath the passenger side. Just check it out and make sure it's tight and not loose. I'm under the passenger side where the starter's at. There's the ground cable attached to the starter stud. If you don't have a good power and ground, when the computers try to do their job, they don't get enough power to do it, and then they'll set codes for actions they couldn't complete because of the lack of power. I'm going to give that a little twisting around, just in case. Just checking the connections out around the battery. That's going to be a problem. that'll be a no-no. I'll go ahead and tighten that down. I'm going to loosen this bolt up. Wiggle this clamp on down and tighten it back up. The proximity to the body is kind of harsh on how thick this cable is, as far as pushing against the battery or something, I guess, or the cable terminal end. I'll see how that does for it. Loose ground terminal will do it. Bad ground terminal. The owner requested I unplug that emergency brake motor because it's setting codes for it not operating properly. It's not locking up or anything, but I just went into the module, unplugged the heavy wire harness off of it. It hasn't set a code on the dash or anything. Just had a problem with the tail lights. The driver in the module behind this panel that runs a fuel pump and a bunch of other stuff, and the lights had a problem, and I ended up splicing into the tail light wire, and the marker light still worked on it, and I just bridged the tail lights to the marker light. The driver's still working for it, and that's been over 2 years ago. But it does set a warning message on the dash saying right tail lights out. But it was cheaper than replacing the module, and the wiring harness had a problem. One of the fuses was dead that supplies power back here. I'm sure it started a whole mess. This Jag also had a noise complaint in the front end. Really fine. The strut mounts rotting out here on top and moves up and down. So I'd say it probably needs a set of them in it.